So it's September the 13th. We're going on the first hunt of the season. Izzy's got our crossbow ready. I got my bow. We're going to go to our properties in Griffin, and hopefully we're able to harvest some sort of deer. One property's got a few bucks on it. One property's got basically all does is what we've got on camera. So we're going to put our best foot forward to kill one on opening day. And that's the main point, is to harvest the animal ethically, process it, and eat the meat. Alright, we'll be back with you shortly. Alrighty, so it's about 12 o'clock lunchtime. Came in, sat by a tree for a minute, let the sun kind of get up so we could kind of see. We didn't want to, I was getting trail cam photos of deer at this bait station up until the moment we shut the door on the cars. So we didn't want to put, we didn't want to walk right up to them, walk right to the blind. So we kind of sat off in the distance up against a tree, waited until we could see. Once we could see, moved over to the blind, got into the blind, we sat here. We was here for about maybe 30 minutes, and we had a deer to their right blow at us. I assumed the amount she blew, I assumed we probably wouldn't see a deer. But about 2 hours after we seen that deer, another deer was coming straight in line with us, but took a left last minute, never came in. That was at about 10 o'clock. So we're gonna call it done for the day. Some people have things they have to do, like go to the fair and stuff like that. So we'll probably go to the fair, and we'll pick back up tomorrow morning, which is Sunday. Yield better results, and can harvest the deer. But that if you walked right out and you killed them every time, it'd be called killing. It wouldn't be called hunting. So I guess we'll pick up from here in the morning. Thank you. Alrighty, folks. So it's Sunday, September the 14th. We skipped the morning hunt so we could go get right with the Lord. We skipped the afternoon hunt so my daughter could experience a good time with her friends and whatnot. And that is the balance that you have to play when you do hunt like I hunt. I hunt all the time. So for instance, tonight for the afternoon hunt, I'm going to have to self-film due to the fact that our camera lady Isabel has obligations with her softball team, and they're starting up fall ball and whatnot. They're getting ramped up on that, so we will be balancing hunting, softballs, other extracurricular activities at the schoolhouse and whatnot, stuff like that. So tonight I will be attempting to self-film, so I can't promise you anything about the hunt. If I do manage to harvest an animal, I will at least do some sort of, glamour shot, and walk you through the story of the hunt. But for the most part, yesterday we went out to a piece of property, and it was iffy because we kind of got there right as they were feeding on the corn pile. And that property is, if they're there, you better not be, because you're going to walk right into them. There's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. So it is actually a fairly good property to do an afternoon hunt. But I've got another piece of property that my camera has stopped working on. I've got one Moultrie camera that's giving me fits. It for some reason it wants to give me a hard time. All the other two, normally they work great. My Moultrie camera that is giving me the hardest time is my oldest Moultrie camera. So maybe it's just getting old and worn down, but neither here nor there. So right now I'm still kind of weighing out my options on which property I'm going to go to. I would like to go back to the property I went to yesterday because I feel like in the afternoon we'd have better luck. There's a blind there, everything's set up ready to go and whatnot. The major problem with going to the other property is I'm going to have to be completely out in the open to hunt that property. There's no blind there, and I don't have a blind to go put out. To be honest with you, when you buy things like softball bats, cleats, gloves, everything under the sun, and you're trying to do that, I don't really have the money to go out and buy a new blind and put the blind out. So you got to make it work how you make it work. So I have had tons of success just sitting up against a tree, face mask on like you're turkey hunting, gloves, covering your hands and whatnot. I've had success killing deer like that. So it's not necessarily to say that you have to be in a blind. It just is a more comfortable environment, especially when pulling back a compound bow, because at least the ground blind blocks you pulling back the bow a little bit. When you pull back a bow on a deer and you're unrestricted right up against a tree, you better make sure your range is right, and you better make sure you're ready to pull the trigger or to hit the button, because if not, then that deer's going to see you and bounce. So I'm more or less leaning towards the blind. I know they come in the afternoon right at dark. It's 2:45, so you know I'm going to get in there in plenty of time to be able to sit down, let the woods calm down, and hopefully they decide to come around a little bit earlier. I have been using my DeerCast app to monitor weather and what they say the best time is, but that DeerCast app has been known to tell a tale up a river. I've had them on DeerCast, it'll tell me it's a bad time, like it'll be red, bad, don't, you know, basically telling you not to go, and went out and seen the most deer I've ever seen. Because at the end of the day, can't nobody really dictate when deer are going to move. They're using data from GPS collars and stuff like that. We had a really windy day one year. It was windy. I'm talking about 28 miles an hour. And it said that it would be a bad time to be in the tree. It was like, you know, red all day, orange and yellow. Me and my daughter went out. It was cold, bitterly cold that day. Went out, sat in the sand. Biggest buck I've ever killed walked right out in front of me. Was demolishing a scrape that I had my wife urinate in. And we shot, we killed him, we harvested him. It was a good day. So sometimes that stuff is a suggestion, I think, for a lot of things. It should tell you, hey, it basically should gauge your expectations. If it says it's a bad day and you only see one deer, it's probably accurate. If it says it's a good day and you see 35 deer, then it was accurate. But it's hit and go sometimes. Sometimes it works out for us, sometimes it doesn't. Georgia is having an odd summer to fall transition. It gets warm midday, and then about 5 o'clock it dumps off. I mean, it jumps off like by 10 degrees from 5 to 6 o'clock. It has not done that since I've been hunting, so the fact that it has not done that since I've been hunting, and we're getting, you know, the 10 degree temperature change, that typically dictates that the deer will be up and moving around due to weather patterns. So we're going to try to put every bit of resources we have into it, and hopefully on opening weekend be able to harvest a deer and get on to the processor and get the meat in the fridge. If a buck walks out, you know, his days are probably numbered. If he's mature enough to where I feel satisfied shooting him, I'll shoot him. For the most part, hadn't really seen nothing on camera as far as bucks that would be like, oh, I gotta shoot that deer. But that's also not really why we hunt. We don't hunt to kill the trophy. We hunt to kill the meat and get meat in the freezer. So mainly we're trying to grow the bucks so that can be trophies, and manage the doe herd so the doe herd isn't outweighing the buck herd, and therefore if we do want to go trophy hunting in November during the rut. We can sit there, we can hit a bleak can and have that deer walk out and come out and actually seek some sort of rut competition. For the most part, while hunting that piece of property, we've just now started getting to where we had any type of rut competition. Last year was the first season you was able to sit out in the field with a bleak can and turn it and see a deer come out and investigate. Before that, you turn that bleak can, they would look at you like you were stupid, walk away, because they got 6 does hoarded up over there. They don't need that deer that you're pretending to be. So we have managed to bring the doe herd down, but I got photos from that piece of property the other day, and there's still a boatload of does out there. So I'm gonna weigh out the opportunity while I drive up there, and when I get there, apparently the spirit will come into me and tell me which property I need to go sit at, and that's the one I'll go sit at. I look forward to trying to self-film it by myself. It's going to be difficult, especially when you film with nothing but a cell phone, because we're out here trying to do it all at the bottom dollar. You can do this without buying a $10,000 camera. Not to mention the cameras that they film with aren't that much better than the camera on an iPhone or any top-tier cell phone nowadays. They try to make them seem like they are. They do more. They zoom in more. They have more function. But as far as video quality, they're not that much better. So we're going to give it our best try. We'll be back with you. So here we are. I decided to come to our property that is more of like a hayfield, old hayfield. I've got a feed block out about 20 foot that way, and the deer filter in from the food plot on this side up through here and into this field, and from up front into the backfield. So hopefully we're able to get something on camera. But like I said, when you come here, there's no blinds or nothing. So basically you gotta chop limbs down and brush you in a blind. And that's what I've done here. With one of our limbs is I've brushed in a blind with one little hole to shoot out of. So hopefully at some point in time today we'll see a deer. Maybe not. Who knows? Alrighty, folks. So unfortunately, we was unable to harvest a deer this weekend. We hunted Saturday morning and Sunday evening. Had family obligations on the other two sides. So next week we'll record another video of us hunting. Me and the person I hunt the property with have come together, and we're going to try to devise a way of getting somebody of my size and stature up in the tree. And if you can't tell by the video, your boy's larger in life, okay? Heavy is what they call me. So that's not the easiest task in the world. It's a market that most tree stand companies just stay away from, is support somebody my size up in a tree. That I think will increase my chances of being able to harvest a deer with a compound bow on the regular. We got footage of a yearling fawn. She come in, when she walked into me, I was up against a tree, fully camoed out, and she walked up to me, she was 6 foot away from me. I could have kicked her in the nose with my boot. That's how she almost walked right over top of my feet to get to the little bait station. She's a little too young for me to shoot her. Not only Sunday, we're not going to shoot young deer. We want our deer to grow up and be mature. Once I decided the hunt was done, there was no light to really film or anything like that. I put my pack back on my back and everything else, and I stepped out with my bow in my hand. Looked to the left, and it looked like the whole field was filled with deer. So there are deer there. My ability to kill them is what's at question. So next week we're gonna try to harvest one. Thank you. I enjoyed you watching the video. I understand you may not have learned nothing by this video, but what you did learn was I gave it my best effort.